Right, all the cases are out of the dishwasher now, and I'm pleased. You know, they've got rid of a lot of the sort of beading and that from the blast cleaning process. But obviously, we're not. We're going to rely just on the dishwasher. So now I'm going over to the sink and I'm going to wash through again all the oil ways, especially the oil ways. There's loads of little oil ways, especially mainly in this in the center crankcase and in the dry side crankcase. There's loads and loads of little oil ways that go everywhere, and you know, we're going to clean all those out and double check all those. But we're going to go over and give things a second wash and a clean, and I'll wash out the oil drain holes, because the blast sort of medium can just sit in there, and then it's not and it's not really an oil way, but you know, it is an oil drain, and so the oil will slowly come down from there and it will slowly wash the grains back into the crankcase, which will then obviously go around the rest of the engine. So all these, any sort of oil ways like these, or drain holes or whatever, we're going to doubly check, because that's where the medium tends to sit there. You know, it's come off the big bits, but it can be sitting in the little bits still quite happily. So we're going to do everything again using the oil way brushes, and going over to the sink and just give everything a good old slosh about. Okay, again in readiness for taking the parts down to the engineers, I've just got the taken the pistons and just cleaned them up, just to have a look. It would seem that they are on standard bore. A couple of strange things about them. So there are marks on a couple on the pistons I've cleaned up. There's sort of some signs of sort of damage from something. So at some point it looks like something's got into the cylinder head, you know, on at least on those two pistons, and sort of rattled around a bit before being blasted out. I don't know, but you know, there's obviously some marks there. And the second thing is that the piston skirts are definitely green. They are green. Now, I've never seen that before, but they are definitely green. So I don't know whether they're painted like that, whether the heat's done that to them. I really don't know. I'll mention it to you. I'll take these down to the engineers and you know, see if they can shed any light on that, because I've never seen a green piston skirt before. But maybe, I don't know. It'd be good if the engineers can shed any light on that. Anyway, yeah. So the standard bore. So I'm fairly sure we're going to have a rebore. I've looked at the cylinders, you know, the bores in the barrels, and they look pretty scored. So I don't think we'll get away with a hone. I think we'll have to have a rebore, which I think would be 10 or 20 thou. But I'll take these pistons down anyway and ask the engineers about them. Okay, and finally, there we have it. All the engine cases, etc., assembled, ready to go down to the engineers. So to start off with, we have the crankshaft. Now, the journals will definitely need regrinding. They're quite worn on these. And when I say worn, there's ridges. I don't know if you can see, but they're quite badly scored, which would suggest that it's not had regular oil changes at some point in its life. That scoring, they're quite deep, the scores. If I run my nail across, you can really, you know, you can feel them really clearly. So I think all the journals will need regrinding. The plugs, there are oil ways that run through the crankshaft, and there are 3 little like grub screw plugs at the end of each oil way, which were already removed when I received the crank. So they have already been cleaned out, but I will clean them out again, and to make sure they're completely clear of all gunge, etc. And I'll do that again when they come back from the engineers, because of course the engineering process can leave bits of swarf, etc., can go down into the oilways. So I'll clean them again when they come back. So they're going to be reground. That'll be the two main bearing journals, and the 3 big end journals will be reground. Then we've got the barrels, so I'm fairly sure we're going to have them rebored. I've looked, I know you can't see too well on this, but there's some quite deep vertical scoring, which I think we won't get away with the home. We'll have to have them rebored, and so we'll have to have bigger pistons. We're going to have the surface, the flatness of the top of the barrels checked, and if it's out, then we'll have that skimmed. I've left the oilway sort of dowels in, but they'll just come out if it needs to be skimmed. They just pull out, they just interference fit, and then we'll just buy new ones later on if that needs skimming. Then I'll come to that. Then the head, we're having new guides fitted, new valve guides, because I know that they're worn, and they'll recut the valve seats for me, and then they'll also check again for the flatness of the head, and if necessary they'll skim the head as well. I've checked all threads and that. I think all threads were all okay. Yeah, got ones like this, I've got a header coil in, that's fine, but I'll check them. When they come back from the engineers, I'll be checking all the threads properly. Then the clutch, we're going to have the pressure plate skimmed. We're going to have the basket skimmed, and we're going to have the top of the fingers skimmed. And these little spigots, they just come out, and they'll skim them. And if possible, I'll see if they can balance the these. Oops, get my fingers out of the way. These sort of 2 items, they fit together, and I've marked them, but they can go in a number of different places. So if possible, I'll get them. I don't know if they can, but if they can, I'll see if they can balance these to work out, which is the best position for vibration. And then finally, we've got the drive side crankcase. And what I didn't realise was that I thought that on all T160s, that's the outlet oil pipe that pumps oil back to the oil tank. And this is the inlet oil pipe, which takes oil from the oil tank and pumps it around the engine, what goes to the oil pump. On T160s, I thought all T160s have a bigger inlet, which is the same size as the outlet, to help increase oil flow. But what I've subsequently discovered is that they only changed that about halfway through the run of T160 manufacture. So this, when is this? This is March or April, I can't remember, or even May, 1975 manufacture. So relatively late, but this has still got the early smaller diameter pipe on. So and so apparently at some time around then they changed to a larger pipe. So what I think we're going to do is I'm going to take it to the engineers and see if you can buy the larger diameter inlet pipe, and I'll see if the engineers can swap that pipe over. But I've never done it before. I'm not even sure how they're fitted into the casing. I take it it's just an interference fit, but I really don't know. But we'll see. You have to have this enlarged, obviously this hole here, and the larger diameter inlet pipe put in. Yeah. Okay, so I'll see about having that done as well. Then the tappets, I've forgotten where I've put them. Are they about? Wherever I put the tappets, I'm going to take them down, and the bottoms of the tappets, and see if they can polish them up a bit. There's a bit of marking, a bit of scarring and so on. I think it can just be polished out, but again, I'll take the engineer's advice on that. And if they think the damage is too much, I'll buy a new tappet, but generally I think they'll just polish the feet, as it were. The camshafts themselves are fine. They're all fine. There's no wear at all on the actual cams. They all look good. There's no marks, no scuffing on the actual cam lobes, so I'm not worrying about those. Hurrah! Yes, I've now found the bag of tappets, so I'm going to take them down and just get the engineer to have a look at the tappet bases, where some of them are a bit worn, a bit scored, to see if they can polish them back up or whatever. And that's everything, I think, certainly for now, to go down to the engineers. Just about everything else I think we can do ourselves, but all that lot I'm leaving to the professionals. And then when that comes back, we'll actually be ready to actually start reassembling the engine. Hey! But it's all this side of this, all the preparation, all the taking apart and cleaning and getting things sorted and blast cleaning, etc. That's what takes all the time. People don't realise, the old sort of adage, it's all in the preparation. When we actually come to rebuild, things are pretty straightforward. It's getting it all ready, getting everything ground down and cleaned and prepped, and then when it's all done, actually the assembly with nice new shiny clean bits is relatively straightforward. It's this side that takes all the time, really. Okay, that's it. I'll be taking that lot down and keep you posted as to when it comes back.